Hey, it's Frank. Welcome back to the channel. American Eagle Rises. How you guys doing? Let's check to see. Okay, so we're focused. That's why I keep kind of dragging my eyes over here back and forth, guys. This camera can act up a little bit, so I got to keep on it because every once in a while it kind of focuses out. So, Friday. I hope you guys are doing well. Man, feels like the last couple of weeks it just gets worse and worse. Man, we made it. Yeah, we don't care no more. Luckily, I don't have a drinking problem. Uh, I'll be lucky if I drink 3 of those today. Yeah, I can't drink too many. I get all, whatever. It's more like I don't feel good type of perspective. So we just have enough, and I'll be lucky to have a mild buzz. So once I feel a little bit of buzz, it's like, yeah, I normally don't even feel that great at that point. So yeah, we don't have to worry about that. Man, excuse me on my throat. What is? I'm telling you, this lingering cough is just. Luckily, it's not happening all that much. So yeah, I got through the week. You got through the week. I hope your week was better than mine. Jeez, oh Pete's, man. It's one of those things, man. Everything's just pointless. It's just like, why am I trying so hard? Anyway, Anyway, it's Raymond, Thoughts and Minds. I don't want this to be too long because it's actually a pretty good video. So, yeah, what do you want me to tell you guys today, right? I'll give you a little quickie thing here. I don't want to say I sort of called it, but I think there was a little bit of juice going on. So, interesting enough, the market setup was a 4 basis points up on the 10-year Treasury, and the dollar DXY did strengthen. So, but I think that's more indicative of the other currencies losing some value because the dollar lost some value. So I don't know. There's a lot of FX shenanigans, I would say, that's going on because that really doesn't make sense. And it's been actually happening. I don't know. I don't want to say there's a bunch of funny money, but there could be a lot of swapping back and forth because a lot of companies and hedge funds and your pensions and all this crap, they have to buy a certain amount, and I don't know. So there could be someone holding too much on one side. They got to unload a trade. It gets real complicated. You can't use all the old analysis. But anyway, that's normally not a good setup for the entire market. Now, looks like SPY just it edged up a little bit more. Really, to be honest, it's gold and silver, and it's really silver. Silver went way up. So silver had a down day, a pretty bad down day, and this actually made up for that and then some. So yeah, just in the last 4 trading days, that's a significant volatility metric. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why all those silver contracts sold off and then all of a sudden they had to immediately buy back. Now it looks a little. It's most likely half of that is. I think there was some traders thinking that they were trying to get it to come down, and with the Federal Reserve cutting rates, I think they finally said, yeah, this ain't gonna happen. So yeah, I think they had to kind of buy some shares or something. But gold was up 1% and silver went up almost 3%. So yeah, it's up there, and all my miners they gained significantly, and that is a good setup. Wow, That was long, guys. That was a very long. That was like 30 plus seconds. Wow. I hope it's still recording. So we're not gonna make it much longer. But what I was getting to was that my miners, which it doesn't matter to be honest, all the miners went up because even the GDX and GDXJ, which are other ETF funds, they're more of a blanket for the entire sector. They all were significantly up, and one in particular, one of mine, Barrick Gold, which is a big boy actually. They're a pretty good streaming company, but they're also a big. That went up almost 10% in one day. But that was fueled primarily. I mean, I'd already had good numbers here coming from that gold and silver trade, but that particular Barrick Gold, an analysis changed its target price for the it went from I think Canadian like $35 to $45. So it was a $10 increase. So that is essentially why the stock just went through the roof today. I'd had to convert. Let's see. Barrick Gold is at $33 US. So that might be about 35. So essentially their target, they moved it up, and that's why it's went up. So there's probably still some additional upside here, but I've never seen that before. Not in any of the miners. Definitely not in one day. So yeah, that's a pretty big move. We're still not selling our shit. There's a reason why. The fundamentals is good. So and that's why I've owned these, and I wish I didn't sell the other shares that I did, but I took profit in them. So because that's one thing that I've been pretty bad. Most of my trading career is not. It's kind of hard to know when you're selling these things, right? And if you don't have a lot of money, it's even harder, right? So you're just like, because you can't buy partial shares, right? That's the one good thing about like a 401k or whatever. It's just so much money, and it's kind of the bonus of an ETF. Anyway, let's get that crap out of the way. Yeah, so if anything, gold, silver is going to just continue to go up because, yeah, the technicals just look way too good. Bearing a major catastrophe in the stock market, Wall Street. Everything will sell off. I call it, if there's an actual collapse like 2008, which I don't know. We might not get that. We might get something like that, but it won't be it'll be the dollar crashing, right? Because that's what I think is going to go down. So I don't think you're going to see the actual nominal value of any shares significantly go down. I think what it will be is, and it won't be uniform, because right, it's every share is not the same, right? But that's what I think will happen, is that the dollar would probably significantly go down in value. So in nominal terms, your stock won't go down. It just will stay it won't accelerate as fast as inflation, right? So to me, that's actually worse. Because the one thing that they don't tell you is, guess what? In an inflationary environment, especially hyperinflationary environment, if there's still a capital gains tax, guess what? Right? You're going to be paying taxes on that gain. But if inflation's faster than what you gain, that means you're actually netting a loss. You're just not losing as much money. What are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? I don't know, man. Just buckle up and pray to God. Yeah, so the only thing I saw, and actually someone mentioned it on Raymond's channel because I was looking at it. So this is from CBC, whatever. I think CNN also announced it as well. I'm surprised no one's going ape shit. So Trump's administration add $100,000 fee for H-1B visas. So just that in itself is too vague for me. It sounds like a step in the right direction. So it depends. If it's more of an EO, then it'll probably have a little bit of sticking power. It won't necessarily. But if it's part of some bill, who knows? Then that means it might take forever to do it. It also depends on how this is being measured. So if it's every single visa per person, I could get behind that. Because that's a significant fee. That means either the person coming here has to pay that fee, but a lot of H-1B visas, they're sponsored by the company that's here. So they'll actually pay that fee for that visa. Now, that's not the case all the time. I knew my last ex-girlfriend, she was, yeah, no, I have like 2 or 3 ex-girlfriends that are Indian. You know, because the white chicks don't like me anymore. They never did. Anyway, that's besides the point. But no, she knew some people that they had to pay the visa to get here. Now, there's some people that can get it because the, part of the salary package or whatever, right? So they got their salary was lower only because the company was paying X amount of money for the fee. So I think currently there's some, and I don't know what it is. I can't remember. It depends on the visa and how long you're going to be here. And it's like, why is there this weird, calculation? It should just kind of be I don't know, maybe, higher end jobs, maybe the fees more, I don't know, right? But hey, if it's every single one of them, right, then that would be great, right? Because the people over in India, they don't have that much damn money, I'm telling you guys. And if they do, they're ultra rich, and like 100 grand to them is like literally nothing. So that's kind of the problem, even with this fee, is that it'll significantly stem the tide, even if we get what we want, meaning to try to have something that's a penalty enough so that we're not just getting inundated, right? But if the ultra rich don't care, but then again, the ultra rich don't want to come over here necessarily. But you never know, right? Let's say your dad is like some big, honcho in India, but you don't like him, right? So you're like, screw my dad. He's an asshole, like an American, right? Like, hey, I'm gonna strike it out on my own, right? And the dad's like, okay, well, if you leave the family, you're only gonna get $10 million. Oh, yeah, whatever. You won't get this 100 million. You just get that, and that does happen. Like, they just come here, and you're just like, why did you leave? You had all this. I don't know. It's right. People are people. It doesn't matter where the hell they're at. In the end, the same shenanigans. It's just, where the society is, how, I think like India is kind of like how the United States was. I'd probably say kind of closer to the beginning of the 20th century. That may not be a perfect analogy because India is like, you go to some areas and it's like kind of, it looks like it kind of has some tech. You go to other areas and you're just like, I can't believe this place is alive. Like, how? It's like there's no running water and, it looks like it's a spider web of electricity lines. And you got like, you don't even know it's a train because it's like it's like, it looks like a bunch of cockroaches, but they're a bunch of people. And they're on, you guys got to see this stuff. Like they get like I don't know, like 30,000 people a year die because they're stuck at, they die because of these trains because there's too many people on them. Can you imagine? That's, you know, right? That's why I kind of call it like prior to the 20th century, right? You had all this crap happening here in the United States. There was no regulations. There were no laws. You know, people were, you know, were dying putting those damn railroad tracks together. You know, those two companies, right? You know, hey, we're so great, right? You know, a bunch of people died. A bunch of actual immigrants came here and did those jobs too. Isn't it funny? It's like the same. It's like not the same, but it rhymes. It's just, you know. Anyway, where were we going? Oh yeah, we were just gonna wrap it up with that, right? But you know, I don't know. We'll see. It's the only thing that I saw that was like remotely America first because I can't. The stuff they're pushing, it's all it's beyond a psyop now. I think not only the media knows it's their end, but I think that communists know it's their end. So they are, again, guys, this is more like a, hey, watch your back, watch your six, watch everything, guys. I'm not trying to be too alarmist, but I don't think we can be overcautious in this moment. And I don't know how long it's going to be. It might be a couple of years. Especially the next, I'm going to say the next year. I think the next 12 calendar, well, maybe this year and most of next, I don't know, something like that, right? I think most, like at least half of 2026. So we'll just say the next 12 months or so. I think we're going to have some crazy shit happen. I still think it's going to be some good stuff, but it's not going to look good. Like it's going to, you know, that saying, you know, it's always the darkest before the dawn. That's gonna come true. I think it's gonna test us all. I know it'll test me. So I know if it tests me, I know, guys. I mean, again, I don't want to be a doomer either. But just like I said, guys, keep your heads up. I know, trust me, guys. I can't anything, guys. Like I went for a little walk. And I came back and I wasn't feeling all that great. I don't know, man. Just all this crap is like major. It's definitely depressive stuff, right? Like it's just eating into you. My buddy, he ended up coming over and we went to Walmart because he needed to buy some stuff, but he wanted to hike. And I was like, dude, I just got back in. But I told him, I'm like, dude, I don't even feel good. It's like, you know, you want to do something, but you feel depressed or whatever. Like, it's just like, why do I need to do anything? You're just like, it's almost like I'm fighting with myself. It's like I got a half of me that wants to do it. And then the other half is just like, why? Like, I'm just tired. I don't want to do it. You know, there's no incentive for anything. So, yeah, guys, I don't want to have false confidence. And that's what Raymond's going on today. But in the same breath, right? Like he talked to some pastor or whatever. And I call it genuine, you know, positive remarks that, right? You know, I'm in the same boat, right? Like a lot of us, we don't even get any encouragement. Like I'm not looking for medals, you know, or like, hey, attaboy type of thing, but just, there's no recognition of anything. So right? Like, no one sees it. And then if they remotely do, they don't care. Right? Like, my family doesn't care. They don't care what I'm going through. And they don't care the stuff that I had to bend, you know, blood, sweat, and tears, you know, and, you know, have to reinvent myself I don't know how many damn times. Right? And then, you know, finally take the scale off my eyes and see the true nature of things, right? But, you know, I will say, like, you know, every once in a while you work hard and someone's like, yeah, you should, you know, yeah, that's actually, you know, you should be proud of your accomplishments. When's the last time you guys have heard that? And I'm asking because I'm asking me that question too. Frankly, I don't remember. I don't. I don't. At least from anyone of any consequence. You know, family? Hell no. No one from my family. You know, like when I graduated college or got a good job or recover from 2008 and 2009. No, none of that shit. You know, to be like I said, it's scary, right? Like I get more respect at work, which how much respect do you get at your job, right? Like Jesus, pardon my French. There, I'm pretty. I'm not. But yeah, I don't recall, guys. I don't recall. And again, I'm not looking for like someone to pump me up. I don't want no fake stuff either. But I agree. Like if you hear that from just one more person that's not you, right? It goes a long way, especially if it's actually genuine. Because I don't want just fake confidence, because that's actually worse. Because then you think, and then you have this, right? It's almost like beyond narcissism, right? You just, and then and then there's the one day that the real truth comes out, and you just like, you knew everything was fake your entire, right? That's worse. Because like by the time you realize that, you're much older, right? And then you're just like, oh my God, my entire life I lived this way. And then, right? That's like, that would be very depressing. I'd rather have nothing than that. So anyway, 21 minutes. I'm just looking at Raymond's channel. I'm also a moderator. So it's funny because like when I try to do the show or hide thing, and like someone's already, I think it's Mr. Homefront. I bet you're probably listening. If you guys are here and you're listening to me, thank you. I hope the video's still recording. But yeah, we get like 7-8 views on a video. We don't get more than 10 average. I see the numbers. The watch time is actually a little higher, but I think that's because I have a little bit more subs. So thank you for subbing, especially you new folks, especially anyone from Raymond's channel or anywhere that you came from, because I'm trying to figure out where I do get a lot. I'd say maybe half of my subscriber base is probably from Raymond's channel. So as much as I keep coming on here and do a lot of work, just a shout out here and there from Raymond's channel. There's always like a handful on there, so I think that's awesome. But yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about. I mean, it's about me in some ways. As much as I'm like a realist, I'm an optimist. I've been beaten up my whole life, so I get it, guys. I know why you don't. I know why you can fret about what has been going on, and to be frank with you guys, this isn't anything new. This isn't anything new. We're finding out some stuff, and it's finally coming out. But I think you guys are all here, especially you younger folks, because I call it you're placed and you're put in a place and a time not of your liking. That's for sure. I feel like I was born too late or too early, one of the two. Or both. But I think you guys were put here because I think I don't know. I'm not sure what the right word is. Not necessarily like you can take the burden. That's not the like you can handle it. You can come to terms with it. Better than I think previous generations. How about that? And maybe my generation's here to kind of bridge that gap, right, of what used to be, or at least what we were told, and kind of what you guys, I call it the you finally found the real thing type of thing. But yeah, I think But in the meantime, they're going to convince us that everything that is here is bad. Don't let them do that to you. Don't. Again, that's not just a flag. It's the ideals and the people behind it. Remember that. They can't take that from you or me or us. Every critic of that flag, that's the one thing that I think we need to not lose sight. And damn it, that's probably what Charlie would be saying if he was still here, right? Yeah, man. Sometimes we have to have a couple of optimists, even though, like I said, guys, it's almost like I kind of, you get older and you got this wisdom. And because, man, when I was like in my 20s, man, they call it like full of piss and vinegar. And it's funny, man. I still have some of that passion, but life had really, it's still there, guys. It's still there, man. My 21-year-old there he's still in there. He's still pissed off more than ever. He's even more pissed now that he's got this body that's like, it's falling apart, but he looks at his whatever generation mates. what like their classmates, right? I look around and I'm like, man, I don't recognize you, Gen X. I don't recognize you at all. Gen X really didn't give a shit. It didn't. It was like, no, man, your rules are screwed up. They're rigged. I think we were like one of the first generations to recognize it. And I think we wanted to. And then, like, I call it life got in the way. The one thing that you Gen Zers probably don't know, right? Like women sucked us into relationships and some of us had kids and, our idealistic and revolutionary spirit died because, we were raising kids or trying to raise kids because we knew how evil the world could be. We get, a lot of us Gen Xers, we didn't have a lot of stuff. No one told us anything. If anything, our parents told us the wrong thing, the opposite thing. Maybe not necessarily a fault of their own, but just whatever the story they told us, we knew it was, some of the things took me longer to figure out. And I try not to be bitter or angry about that, but that's just to say, we kind of had it, we kind of saw it, and then we got distracted. So, and then I think the millennials saw a little bit more of it, and they kind of started to finally kind of awaken and say, hey, do they want to keep continuing this? Now the baton is to you guys. I know some of you Gen Zers are, you're starting to itch up there. Maybe some of you guys are getting close to 30. But there's some of you guys that are still like in high school. You guys definitely see it. Hell, you guys probably see its ugliness. Right? And and then add on top of what the hell's going on in society. So, like I said, guys, just one day at a time. I know you weren't given many opportunities. Maybe you were never given any damn opportunity. That's shameful, I think. And I've seen some of your guys' parents. It's like they never had any trust in you. They never. It's funny because I think a lot of Gen Xers raised a lot of Gen Zers. I don't get it. My one ex girlfriend, her daughter lived with us, and I never was like that. I wasn't a helicopter parent. I was always like, hey, let her, tell us where you're gonna go or what you're gonna do, right? If you need help, always come and see us. But we're not gonna We're not going to baby you. We're not going to give you all this stuff, right? We'll give you some stuff, but you have to earn it, right? You have to work for some of it, you know. And I remember telling her, I'm like, hey, man, I would do all this stuff and get $5. I had to bust my ass just to get it, right? You know. Hell, some of my generation, they had to have chores, and guess what? They didn't get any allowance. That, you know. But yeah, I saw some of her friends, and it's like they would just sit inside all day. And I'm like, what the hell? Now I'm like, how old's this kid? 10. I'm like, well, can't they take their backpack and put it on the little hook? Is it so hard? Anyway, but that's just to say that you guys see, but you guys are getting to that point, and I know it's almost like if you actually had, a lady and actually started having a family. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse, right? But if you had the family, you wouldn't have any time. I'm telling you, you would not. Dude, if you think life's hard now, Mr. Homefront, tell him what it's like. I don't know what's worse. I heard raising girls is worse. I probably would agree with that. Boys are more rambunctious, and they'll fight, and to some degree, you gotta let them fight. That's one thing I go to all these schools, and I saw like how you guys got raised, and I'm like, I'm seeing them watch football, and like the women, I'm just like, stop, and like, oh my god, I'm like, what do you mean? They didn't even they barely even touched each other. I said, I remember playing football, man, and I couldn't even get up, and like some kid would come and punch me in the face. You're like bleeding, Where's the parents? Oh, there's not one parent at all. So some of your parents, they remembered what they went through, so they didn't want you to go through it. And that's what parents do. All right? But parents have to remember, you got to balance that. You can't overcompensate too far, right? You want to give your child a better head start than you got, yes. But you can't stunt their growth. And I think Gen X definitely fumbled the ball there, unfortunately. Again, that daughter I had her, I didn't. She's in some way she's like half Gen Z and half Gen X, and I'm fine with that, actually. I'm really fine with that. I just wish you Gen Zs would talk to one another, for crying out loud. Find a way, guys. You guys have a lot of good ideas. And eventually the future, however outcome comes, you guys are going to have to live with it longer than the rest of us. And some of us, like myself, we want to help you guys. But we need involvement, and we'll help you steer. And I know it's hard to trust everyone. Anyway, I've been babbling here for another 10 minutes. And I said I wasn't going to make a long video. Raymond, help me. There's no help for you, Frank. No rest for the wicked. But I'm not wicked. But I don't have rest. What's rest? What's rest again? You can sleep when you die. I kind of hate that saying, but I feel like that nowadays. Anyway. Happy Friday, everyone. We found the stop button. Crazy Frank is out. See ya. Bye.